Loading. There we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Marcus Norman from Gentleman Style Podcast, your host of the #1 podcast coming to you live in America. And today we have the infamous, the incredible, the stupendous Lauren and Nathan Price from Right Price Real Estate. And they are my special guests. They are my real estate brokers, and I love them to death. Oh my gosh. They have helped me transition. They have helped me with all my properties, every single one of them. And from A to Z, they have been just the most incredible, God-fearing, loving people, loving family. I feel like a part of the family. And working with them has everyone feels the exact same way. They're knowledgeable. They know what they're doing, and they want to help. They really are the most impactful couple that I have ever met. And oftentimes when you connect with people, you it's that gut feeling. And from day one, it's been just a blessing to just, I felt good about them. And to this day, they still continue to serve. They still continue to help me grow and help others grow in their local community. So Mr. and Mrs. Lauren Price, where are you in the world? And how long have you guys been in the business and in the real estate industry?
Oh, well, thank you for the fabulous introduction. I'll just pay you later, okay? Well, currently we are in Chesapeake, Virginia. We ourselves are actually getting ready to move, though. We are going to be in Virginia Beach, Virginia, but we service all of Hampton Roads. So Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth. We'll go to the other side of the water, too. So we're all over Hampton Roads. For business, we actually just reached our 7-year mark. So Nathan jumped into real estate first, and then I joined him. Yep, and then I joined him 2.5, almost 3 years ago. So that's when we formed the Right Price Real Estate team. So we've had that going now for a while. But yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Love it. And what's the average number of homes an agent typically sells, and how I know you guys have exceeded it. How much is the average agent doing sales and closing sales?
The real estate statistics are actually pretty sad. The average agent sells 3 homes a year.
3 homes a year.
3 homes. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of sad, and that's why I always tell people, when they're talking to a potential agent, to not necessarily ask them how long they've been in the business, but ask them, how many homes do you sell a year? Because if I was like going to, a personal trainer, and they told me they only worked out 3 weeks out of the year, I'm probably not going to take advice from them. Probably going to go to the guy that's in the gym every single day, 3 days a week kind of thing. But yeah, the statistics are bad. Yeah. And I think part of that is so real estate's a really easy industry to get into, right? So it really doesn't take that much to get into it. But it is a hard industry to stay in. It really is. I think that people see things like, the house hunters, where it's, you go show somebody 3 houses and then they put in an offer and you're done. Woo, I can do that. And they don't show all the back end stuff that goes on. And, the fact that it's not really 3 homes, that it's more like 30 homes sometimes. But it's a lot more involved in that. But yeah, the numbers are pretty bad, and some of that too comes to a lot of agents are very transactional. Their focus is, all right, I got this person, let's get them to buy a house really, really quick so then I can move on to the next person, and they don't take the time to build those relationships with people and to get to know them. It's just like they're a number. It's like, okay, you move on from one to the next, and they just don't build those relationships.
They don't make them family like we've made with you.
That's true. And it's true.
Yeah. And I think that's
And
kind of what has set us apart, is that we do that. You know, we don't, you know, we don't rush anything. You know, it's a big decision for anybody, no matter what the price point is, whether you're an investor and you're buying a $60,000 house that you want to flip, you got to make sure that's the right one. Or if it's somebody that it's a residential home where it's 150,000, or if it's, you know, a $750,000 home, it doesn't matter. Like, we're going to give you
big
the
money.
same attention. Well, I mean, but it doesn't matter. 150, it's all relative. I mean, that's all relative. You know, that person that only has 150 to spend, that could be the biggest deal of their life. They could be the only person in their family that's ever purchased a home, and they deserve just as much attention and nurturing as the person that's buying the big house. So, you know,
vacation home,
yeah. So I think for us, it doesn't matter. We want to make sure that everybody's, you know, happy and nurtured, and then, you know, they become our personal referral folks too. So.
Sure. Your own mini agents. And you guys do what side of the business? Can you just help me buy a home? Can you help me sell a home? What's the connection? Can you help me with both sides of the coin? And what does that look like?
Yeah, typically we actually end up kind of doing both. A lot of folks will come to us, they have a home to sell, and they're either downsizing, you know, kids have left the nest and they've got this big house they need to get rid of, or vice versa. They're starting a family and the house is too small and they, you know, want to get a larger house that suits the family. But yeah, we definitely can help with both. We work with folks that are investing like yourself that want to make their money move a little more for them. You know, we joke, we call it mailbox money. But everybody, I mean, it's good to have, you know, different streams of revenue. And real estate is one of those things that it always increases in value. You're never going to lose value in real estate. So if you want to make long-term wealth, absolutely invest in real estate. So we help folks like that. Definitely, if people are looking to sell, we help with that, whether it's houses, land, anything like that, or if you're looking to purchase. We do it all.
I just saw Betty up there. Hi, Betty. Yeah, she said something on Facebook there.
Miss Betty, she's supporting us. She loves you guys. And thank you, Betty. Thank you for joining us today with this dynamic team. We appreciate your support and your love.
Absolutely.
What are some of the costs? What are some big ticket costs that you see homeowners, specifically first time? It's my first time. What are some of the things that you typically see homeowners struggle with as far as cost wise that you try and help them get them ready for?
Yeah, well, actually, so right now it's pretty awesome because the interest rates are at a record low. Literally a record low. We had a buyer today. She just closed on her house. Yay. She was a VA buyer that had a rate of 2.25%. 2.25%, right?
What?
Right?
What?
Free money. That's why I joke with her. I said, you just got free money to buy a house. I mean, I could not believe when we were looking at the closing disclosure what her monthly payment was. And it's because that interest rate was so low. So that is huge right now. You know, just like you're spending
mind blown.
It really is, because you're spending power, you know. So it's like, okay, if you've got an average of a $250,000 house, just a year ago, those rates were 5%, you know, 4 and 5%. Now with them being in 2.5–3%, that's a savings of close to $200 a month that can either go just in your pocket, you know, like where you just don't want to spend that much, and that is great. Or you can buy more house. You can increase your buying power to $300,000. So if you haven't found that house in the 250 range, you can go up and you're still staying in the same monthly payment. Like,
wow.
So that is awesome right now. I'm having a field day. All our buyers are so excited with that. I mean, just to get those pre-qual letters, and they're like, what? 3%, 2.75%? And they see how much more they can afford. I mean, it's been the best experience ever. And that's been going on for about 4 to 5 months. I mean, right around the time of all this COVID, the interest rates just started to drop.
It's been great. It's been great, honestly, for buyers.
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. So their buying power has increased. In terms of overall cost, it really kind of just depends on what type of loan they have and how much money they want to bring to the table. You know, for a VA loan, you know, if you're a veteran or if you're active military, you have access to the VA loan, which you have 0% that you have to bring down. So you almost can buy a house for like $1,000, you know, because there are some other costs that are associated with it. But I mean, literally chump change. You know, you save for a couple of months, you can have $1,000 and boom, you can buy a house.
Yep.
Then if you go up to an FHA loan, then you're just looking at a little bit more down. So 3.5% to, you know, if you do a conventional loan, it can be 5%. So it just depends on, you know, what type of loan the person has and then also what price point they're going into. Other than that, the out-of-pocket costs really aren't that much. You have a home inspection, which is usually under $500. And then you have your appraisal fee, which is usually $500. So it's pretty minimal because right now the sellers are the ones that are also paying our commissions. So it's free to use a real estate agent. And that's all over the place. For a buyer. For a buyer. It is free. So you don't have to pay. So that's the greatest part is the sellers pay that. So you're literally just paying the cost that's going in to purchase your loan.
That's incredible. And that's really important to know because, you know, a lot of people don't even realize that there's other costs to coming into buying that first home. You know, it's like, and, you know, I always shared my story that, you know, I when I looked at the cost, when I first went into the ringer, you know, I tapped out. I got scared because I was like, oh man, it was like, well, you got to pay for this. You got to pay for this inspection. And then things ain't go well with the inspection. So we need another inspection. And, you know,
that's true.
Being aware and having those numbers up front help me. You all help me prepare me for that next step. And so it's always important to know that. That's why I always lead with that question. Do you guys, and one of the big tickets, one of the big power tools you all were also able to help me in is that you also were able to connect me with the right inspectors, with the right property managers, with the right financial institution. Help me find my bank, right?
Yeah.
And you know, everybody thinks, well, I'm gonna just go to the bank that I bank, but I actually got a better rate with the connections and the partnerships that you had already out the gate. And so I always advocate go with a broker. Go with a broker because they have the experience, the knowledge.
We have the arsenal, you know, to help you out. You know, a lot of us, we've been in this for, you know, a while. So it's always one of those things where we make connections and we work with people. You start working with people and you realize like who's a really good loan officer, who's a really good home inspector, and you start weeding out the bad ones. And so, you know, it just helps our clients out. We're able to give them the best of the best. It reflects greatly on us. We reflect greatly on the home inspectors and lenders as well. So, you know, it's just a win-win, you know, scenario right there. So, yeah.
It was powerful. You do have people. You all were like Batman or Robin. I swear. Like you had a utility belt. Like what you need, Marcus? And here comes the boomerang, right?
I got a window guy.
You need a window guy. You need an appraisal. You need you just had a quiver of just endless, just endless. It was incredible, and that's truly why I love working with you guys, and why I always and everyone else loves working with you guys. You all are well known in the Hampton Roads area. What tools? One thing. Do you recommend? Does it help the process at all if I come with my own lender, my own pre-approval letter?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone's free to use whoever you want. We just make recommendations. So, you know, like the case where, you know, you had the bank and obviously they give you, you know, an amount and they give you, you know, your interest rate, but you can go and shop those around. But yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter who you use at the end of the day. We'll just recommend certain people, like Nathan said, that we know work hard for us. You know, the worst thing you can possibly have is somebody that's slacking off and it's 2 days prior to closing and they don't even have all the documents and they have to, you know, delay closing. So you really want to make sure that you have a good loan officer, and that's, you know, somebody that's their job. Sometimes the banks will get people that are just the worker bees. You know, they're not really, they're hourly. They don't really care if your house closes or not. Or most of the loan officers, you know, they want you to refer them. So they're going to bust their booties to get you to the closing table so that you're their walking billboard and so forth, you know. So we typically like to work with locals too. And, you know, if we ever need to go hunt somebody down, we can knock on a door and say, where's this closing? We haven't had to beat too many people up.
Not too many, but
yeah. It's absolutely. A lot of people will come with at least a general pre-approval. I remember when we first went to, you know, before we were agents and we bought our first house, we had all of that lined up first. I mean, we had read like 1,000 books and I was like, all right, I got my pre-approval letter. I know where I'm going, you know, pretty much brought all that to the agent. And then she was still able to guide us from that point. And I think we did end up using a different lender and so forth. But yeah, it's good to get a pre-approval first, just so you have a general idea of what your budget is. You know, the one thing that I like to tell people though is not to focus too much on what the pre-approval letter is, like how much the bank is willing to give you. You want to focus on what you want your budget to be. You know, if
your expenses you're willing or that you want to pay.
If you're
everybody has a number in their mind.
Yeah.
You know what it is that they want to pay.
They're comfortable.
You know what they're comfortable with. So yeah, that's the number you really, and that's where talking to a lender and say, hey, this is what I'm comfortable with. They can run the numbers and they can actually say, okay, this is the price range that you need to stay in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because if you do those lovely little lender or loan calculators online, they are not accurate.
They're not accurate.
No, you cannot buy a $400,000 house for $1,000 mortgage. It's not how that works.
Even at a
0%. Like that's the one thing, like don't do the Zillow. People are like, well, Zillow said, like, well, Zillow lied.
So said I was rich.
There's the tax rate, the local city, and that kind of stuff.
It's true. It doesn't account for that. It doesn't account for that at all. We have actually a question from Miss Betty. Is it okay if I field her question?
Yeah,
I'm gonna put it up on the big screen. And I'm going to put it up on big screen. I'm going to read it out so the audience can see it. So Miss Betty Lewis asked this great question. Do you prefer clients reach out to you before they are ready? I know they couldn't house shop first, but who should a buyer first find? Their real estate agent or mortgage lender, financier, mom and dad? Who should they go to first? I think is what she's got. I hope I touched on that question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So I'll take this one here. So honestly, you know, reaching out to a lender first is great. Reaching out to, you know, an agent like us is great too. Either one I think is perfect. It's definitely, if you come to us, like we have the contacts that we can direct you to. You know, we deal with a lot of people that are not quite ready yet, or they just have that mind, just start thinking about real estate. And so it's like, okay, I kind of want to be in a house by the time the lease is up in 6 months. That's a perfect time to come to us so that we can sit down, we can evaluate, you know, your situation. We can get you in front of a lender, find out where you stand, you know, work on your monthly stuff. And if there are things that need to be taken care of or addressed, you know, you have plenty of time to do that. So, you know, by the time, you know, your lease is up, boom, we can get into, you know, the house that you want. So I think it's great as early as you can. Talk to an agent, talk to one of us, give us a call. We'll get you to the right people, obviously, but you know, really, it's really your own preference. You know, it's really the buyer's preference on whether or not they want to start with a lender or start with an agent first. But one way or the other, they're going to talk to one of us.
Yeah, but definitely getting an early start is good, like I said, because sometimes people won't realize how long it takes. So like Nathan said, you know, if you've got a lease that's up in August, you're not going to want to start in July. You actually want to start closer to April, May, June, you know, just so it takes time. If you don't find the house right away, or loans take at least 30 days, there's just a process. So I like, at least if it's 6 months, great, we can sit down and say, all right, this is our timeline. Starting April, we'll start going out and looking at houses so we can get something finalized by X date. But so kind of, but early is good.
That's true. Earlier the better. Earlier the better. So
it just has to come in the market and say, I want to go see this one right now, and then we're scrambling right before, and you come to find out this is your dream house, but you can't qualify for it. I mean, that's the worst thing. We've had clients that, heartbroken because they see the house, they love it, they want everything about it, and they can't get qualified. So sooner the better. Talk to us. We'll get you set up with the right people.
Perfect.
Did that answer it, Betty?
I think so. I think Betty gave us a thumbs up. She is chock full. I think Betty's been excited about this. She has another one. She's putting me out of a job here. I am fired. So I love this question. She says, what are some red flags clients should look for to know the agent might not be the best for them or might not have their best interests at heart? So you just touched on what are the things to look for. What are some things to keep out for that are red flags or no-nos, or like stay away?
I would say like the availability, the response time. If you're reaching out to an agent and they're not responding to you in a timely manner, that's the first red flag, because I start to question, how hard are they working? Are they part-time? Is their focus somewhere else? I mean, we deal with this with trying to reach agents sometimes to show homes. I mean, we'll reach out to try and show a house and I can't get a response for a day. And it's like, okay, what are these people doing? So you want to make sure that you've got somebody that as soon as that house comes on the market, they're there to show you the house, or especially if you're selling the home. I mean, how important is that you've got an agent that's answering the phone to a listing showing, your house, somebody wants to come show your house and the agent's not answering their phone to approve that showing. That's a big no-no. So, if you're trying to contact someone and they're really slow, I would just run the opposite direction, unless they come back with, I was on vacation. But even when we go on vacation, we've got somebody there. There's always one of us to reach. I never want anybody to feel like they can't get a hold of us. The other thing, if they start to feel pushy,
I'm sure it means that looking or going to see a house that maybe they don't want to take a look at. Sometimes it's good. Don't get me wrong. Agent recommends a house. We've had that happen where just off of our recommendation, we're like, hey, let's go check out this house. It wasn't on your list. Let's check it out, and they love it. But yeah, if you're like, yeah, I don't like it, but your agent is really pushy and wants constantly trying to just go on with it. You can always sell in a couple of years, and those are definitely big red flags, for sure.
Yeah, trying to push you in. If you've given specific parameters of things that you're looking at and they keep showing you the opposite, probably not good. But I would say that just if you can, like you said, you can usually feel a connection with somebody right away, and you can tell if their heart's in it, if they're asking you the right questions. I mean, they should be asking you, like, okay, one of the things I always ask is, all right, fast forward for a buyer, fast forward 6 months. You're in your house, you're in your dream house, you got friends over. What does that look like? You just want to take that time to really figure out what that person's looking for. So if you have an agent that's not taking the time to really talk to you and figure out what it is that you're looking for, that's a red flag. They should be asking lots of questions. If you're having to be the one to constantly provide all of the details and there's no questions being asked, that would be a red flag to me as well.
Perfect. That's powerful for me. One thing for me, I'll add my caveat, and again, it goes back to you all, is knowledge. Nothing frustrated me more when I would have a question and buying my first home, and my agent just didn't know. And I don't expect them to know everything, right? But knowledge, the expertise, and just saying, oh, this, I remember I looked at one house and it had a tank in the basement. And I asked, I said, what is that? And, 'cause I'm thinking the city provides the water, but in actuality, the house was still on a septic tank system. And the agent couldn't help. There are some parts in Suffolk, some remote areas in Suffolk that still had potable water, and they weren't connected to city water. And the agent couldn't help me figure that out. And so that just messed me up, because the first purchase, the first buy is so crucial. And when I left, when I found you all, you were knowledgeable. That's a big ticket item for me, is knowledge. You knew what is common in the area. Oh yeah, this is normal in this part of Norfolk, or this is normal in this part. Like, you see a lot of brick housing in Norfolk, or Old Town, or Portsmouth, and you just knew your market. And so that's a big ticket item for me.
And that kind of speaks to that, your question earlier about how many, houses does a typical agent sell. When you have an agent that sells 3 houses a year, they're not going to know the market. They're not going to know, all the stuff in the surrounding area, like somebody like us, doing 3 a month, 3 plus a month. That's where you get a lot of your experience from. On top of that, we also, our brokers are actually really, really knowledgeable. I mean, whatever we don't know, we have the support behind us that we go to. And I mean, big shout out to our brokers. They I mean, I can't speak better words for them.
Crazy things happen in real estate, and it helps when people share those experiences. So when you're with a broker that shares those, like, hey, by the way, this is what happened last week to so-and-so, and everyone's like, didn't even know that could happen. But then for the next time when something like that happens, you're like, I know the answer. This crazy thing has happened before. But yeah, I mean, in real estate, crazy things can happen. Literally crazy.
Each deals are exactly the same. So there's always something new. Every deal, something new happens.
Yep.
That's true. That's so true. Betty has one last question, and then I can get my job back.
We love it, Betty.
We love it. What is the most common myth people believe about buying a home?
Ooh.
Well, we might
I don't know. I'd probably go to like what they see on TV again. Like if anybody's been watching HGTV, especially for first-time home buyers, they see these guys go in with like the asking price, and then they go in like 30 grand below. And I'm like, that is not how this works. I mean, that was great. Like, I want you to get the best deal too. Like, I am on your side. We're going to milk them for everything that they possibly can. But you are going to insult this poor person if you want to go in 30 grand below. Like, that did not work. So they see it on TV, and then it's like, okay, that's what I want to do. Like,
They're talking about me. They're talking about me. 'Cause I watch a lot of HDTV, and I tried it. I tried that tactic, that method, and I said, let me, I was talking to you guys, and I'm like, all right, what kind of offer we gonna make? And I said, I think the house is like like 270. And I wanted to lowball him, like, we're gonna lowball him. I said about a cool 150. And then it was like, no. But it was because of all that television.
yeah.
I had watched too much HCB, and I was like trying to like just lowball the seller. Like, Marcus, we're gonna insult the homeowners. We can't put that offer out there.
Yeah.
So they're talking about me.
But everybody sees it, and it's because, depending on the market that they're in or whatever. I mean, again, it's TV, so who knows what goes on behind the scenes. But it's like, this isn't the tropics, these are houses that are selling quick, and especially our market right now. Like, we're in a tough market because of COVID. There is not enough housing to go around. We were already in a housing shortage in Hampton Roads before this all started. Now it's even worse, between, less sellers wanting to list because of germs and all of that. I understand they don't want to have, people in. And yeah, uncertainty of jobs, people that may have wanted to sell, and then now, there's a lot of uncertainty with their jobs, so they're not. So we are in a housing shortage. So when a house goes on the market that's priced right and is in good condition, it's going quick and it's probably going to go over asking price. So there really isn't room for that, let's go in 20 grand below. Like you're going to be like number 8 on the list.
But it's honestly, it's a perfect storm. With it, because yes, great time to list. Sellers are getting more money for their houses, as much as possible. But buyers, with the interest rate are so, being so low, they're saving so much money. They can actually go in over asking price a little bit and still get a great house. So I mean, the market we're just in a really good, good time right now.
If the interest rates weren't as low as they were, it probably wouldn't be as good for buyers, but because they are so low, it really is. I mean, we just bought a house.
It makes sense to buy. It does.
We're buying a house. It's good.
Yeah. It's funny because about this time last year, we got a lot of agent friends selling and buying, and we're like, it's a good time to buy and sell, or sell and buy. When you see all of your real estate agent friends buying and selling a house too, so.
Doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And so when you say there's a shortage, there's a shortage. There's not a shortage of there's a shortage of houses available for sale.
Yes, for sale and being built. So new construction, it can't keep up either. Most of the builders are behind and they're at max capacity, as well as there are not enough resale homes being listed. So there are more buyers in the market than there are sellers. And some of that is definitely because of the interest rates.
So you need people to sell their houses, basically. You need inventory. We're out of inventory.
We need inventory bad.
Okay.
And a person, so a really good scenario is a person 2 years ago would, they came to us and they said, hey, I've got a house that I want to sell for $200,000. I owe 180. They're going to break even. Just 2 years ago, they were going to break even. Now in this market, we can get them. I mean, just 2 years, we're talking anywhere, 200, between 225, possibly even up to 250.
Yeah,
that's 2 years of equity that you can, get back. I mean, that's like 50 grand of equity that you're getting within 2 years. That's unheard of. So.
And they're selling quickly.
And they're selling fast. Yes.
Again, if they're priced right, marketed right, and in good condition. So that's where we can have.
Wow. What's if I buy a house? Tell me this. If I buy a house right now and say there's like a hidden chest or a hidden vault or a hidden, the old school television show where they got the painting with the eyes moving and behind the painting is like a vault where the combination safe is. What happens with that if I buy a house today because of the shortage and the owner's trying to rush and sell and he forgets his safe? Do I have to call him? Is the deal void? What happens?
Nathan's still waiting for this to happen. Nathan's like waiting to open up a wall at one of our houses, and there's a treasure chest in there. So you're just gonna get his hopes up now more, and now our new house is gonna have a bunch of holes.
So, technically, I think the way the law is once you buy it, it's yours. It's your property. It's your house. Is it the right thing to do? That's a whole other story. Is that a moral obligation to hunt down the previous owners and see if they forgot something? I don't know how hard you hunt them down or try and search.
Newspaper ad.
You just like look, maybe make a phone call like, oh yeah, it's a person that lived here before is still alive. No, they're not. Okay, good. So. Yeah, technically, the way real estate is, anything that's in your lot directly underneath you. So say, all the way down to the core of the earth is yours. Any mineral rights technically yours. Anything all the way up to the sky is yours. That's the way.
To the sky. Wow.
Technically, well, you say that. Other than
your airspace.
Your airspace, obviously, but technically, the way real estate. In our country is written, you own the rights, everything directly above you and everything directly below you.
So someone can't fly a drone over my house. You can't fly a drone over someone's house.
Not supposed
I don't
to.
think you're supposed to. That's why they're trying to make drones, FHA or FAA regulated and that kind of stuff.
You actually do have to get permission too. I know for real estate, if we're doing aerial photos in certain areas, they do have to get permission to fly the drones.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Can you all help me walk me through the steps of the closing portion where we've figured out the house, we figured out what we want, we like it, everybody likes it, the kids love it, the dog loves it, it got the acreage, it got the fence. When can I start, buying furniture? Can I buy a new car? Can I get a loan? Can I, can I start furnishing my house and buying stuff, refinancing this so I can put stuff on credit to get ready for the house? What? Help me out. We are about 2 weeks from closing.
None. None. You can't do anything with your money until you close.
Yeah. So the best thing to do is to just literally just gas and food and your normal bills, whatever. That's the only thing you really want to do. And I would honestly do that, even a couple weeks before you start, before you make that offer on the house. Like, hey, underwriter, lender, they're going to look at your finances for, well, in our case being 1099s, 2 years, they look at everything with a fine-tooth comb. So, you want to make sure that you can have every dollar accounted for. Don't want to be racking up credit card debt or furniture, credit cards or any of that stuff right before closing, for sure.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, that's the biggest. I mean, it's a joke in real estate, but yes, people have lost homes over things like going and buying furniture, because all it takes is then they look at what's called a debt to income ratio. So how much debt do you have versus how much income? All of a sudden you've got this credit card or this car payment that changes your debt to income ratio. You're no longer approved for that loan. You can no longer buy that house.
Yep.
So you don't live in that car that you just bought or that furniture that you just bought. So yeah, no big purchases should be made prior to closing. Once you take possession of those keys, you can go buy whatever your heart's desire, but nothing.
So you said about, not just the 30 days to closing, but a little bit more. Just don't, get any new credit. Don't apply for any credit cards. Don't, purchase
instructed by your lender.
Yeah, unless you're, if you're working with a lender, and that's what we said earlier, reaching out to a lender earlier is good. Same with us, about 6 months, reach out to the real estate agent and the lender so you can form that plan. And they'll be able to look and say, if you just don't have a lot of credit history, they may tell you, at that 6 month mark, go ahead and pull out a credit card, and pay it off or do some different things to build some credit. But I would not do it unless it was specifically instructed by the lender. You don't want to go and pull out anything.
You're trying to be smart about things. When you have higher credit or higher debt to income ratio, guess what? It looks like you may not be super responsible with credit, so your interest rate could be a little higher than somebody that has a really great credit score and is really responsible with with their credit. So that's why I say you want to have these deliberate things that you're planning out, obviously, before you buy the house.
Absolutely. Look at that, y'all. They are spilling the tea today, right? It's more than just real estate. That's why I say they're the power pack couple. You're getting real estate, you're getting some finance, you're getting some money management tips, you're getting some budgeting tips, the whole thing. They are the whole package, y'all. They're not going to lead you astray, and they're absolutely going to take care of you. They've taken care of me for years. Years.
Sometimes with a therapist too.
Some counseling. That's true. They helped me. I'll share a story. They helped me. We went a year to buy this house. A year. They put up with me for a year, y'all. And right when I was ready to quit, went to one bank, and the bank is like, "Yep, I got them. We gonna get to close. You know, week, 2 weeks out. Oh, closing fell through, financing fell through, and you know, a year of pushing to find the right property. This property, we looked at one property. It had a tree growing out of the garage. So you know, the bank, when we were like, you know, Nathan was like, Marcus, you go with that. And I was like, yeah, I can make that work. And the bank saw the property and they were like, no, we will not finance that. So a year of just pushing. And I remember, I'll never forget it. I think I still have the text message, but you know, one day I was getting up and I was just feeling so defeated. And they texted me and they were like, you got one more in you? I think we got this. We got one more round. You got one more round for me, and they just encouraged me, and they didn't give up on me, right? They didn't give up on me, and it wasn't pushy, right? Remember that they weren't pushy because we don't like pushy, but they were loving, right? The kind of love you would expect from family to say, Marcus, this is a good thing. Family isn't going to lead you astray, and when you trust someone like them, like how I trust Nathan and Lauren. It didn't come from a bad place. When you know someone's heart, you know it's not from a bad place. It comes from the heart, and they were genuine. Like, Marcus, we're close. I feel it. We got the next one. You got one more round in you, and I kept pushing, and we did it. And we when we closed, oh my God! But I wouldn't have made it without them. I wouldn't have made it without their encouragement, their upliftment, and they sticking with me even when I gave up on myself. Right. So that's what you get with Lauren and Nathan. You get the whole package. Betty, we stirred up the pot with Betty because she has more questions.
So we're gonna do.
We need the Betty show real quick.
No, we just need Betty on a freeway right here.
We need to have Betty. Betty, we're gonna get on the next episode.
Yes,
she wants in, y'all. But is it okay if I post her question here?
Yeah,
it's a long one. So she said, I lied. I have another question that Marcus made me think of. Once you get to keep what's inside. So what happens if you buy a house and you discover a major home issue that wasn't disclosed? Does the buyer have any options or protections, or is inspection your only shot to recover repair costs? Really, really good question. Yeah. And I think she's touching on the contract, or so what protections are in that contract when you make that offer and it gets signed by everyone. So yeah, that's her question. You want to put it up
first thing? Well, I mean, we'll tag team it on it, but I will say it's very subjective to everything. So there is no, with real estate, sometimes there isn't an answer that's the same for every situation. So it's always going to kind of, it's situational. So we'll kind of.
I'm going to caveat that. We are not real estate attorneys. If you feel that is something that has happened, you know, it's very smart to work with your real estate agent and a real estate attorney to see what your obligations or your repercussions and stuff like that you can do. Now, Virginia is a state where sellers are supposed to disclose any that was a term latent defects. Yeah, so things that are not easily found. So the latent defect could be something that's just been hidden, covered up, that a home inspector would not find. And so there you would have an issue or a reasonable cause to say, hey, you hid this from us, you hid this from our real estate agent, and you hid it from your real estate agent, because that's the other thing too, is did their real estate agent know it?
They know it. They're supposed to disclose.
They're supposed to disclose. So it is one of those things where if it's something that is a hidden defect that is not easily seen, it's supposed to be disclosed. Now, the other side would say that Virginia is a buyer beware state, and there's a lot of disclosures and a lot of due diligence that you're supposed to do, obviously, like getting a home inspection. And so it is very important to get a really good home inspection. Again, if it's something that's hidden that they would never, come across with a normal home inspection. And our home inspections in the state of Virginia are not, very intrusive. They're what they call a non-intrusive home inspection. A lot of it's visual. put testers on outlets and make sure windows work, but they're not going to open up a wall to see if it has knob and tube wiring, if they can't, see it right there. So you got to be careful, obviously. The best thing, I think, like we said, is, that is something that was a hidden defect that was not disclosed, wasn't found from a home inspector. That could be something where the seller could be at fault. And I would definitely talk to a real estate attorney about that.
Now, if it's something that was missed that should have been caught by the home inspector, if you had a home inspector that didn't do their job, then that could potentially fall under the home inspector, and they could be held responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that pure, simple bad luck happened after you took possession of the home, when you're dealing with older homes, things happen. Stuff can happen if it just was general bad luck and a pipe burst as soon as you moved in and everything was completely fine prior to that. Unfortunately, you own the home now, so it's just very depending on the situation. But most of the time, like Nathan said, if it's something that should have been discovered, and was missed, there are ways to have it resolved. But yeah, that's why we use real estate attorneys. So definitely to be able to, fight for you if that is an issue.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I will add one last caveat.
Yeah, good question.
Thank you, Betty. That was great. I will add one last caveat. One of the things, again, Nathan and Lauren helped, they had a very, very detailed home inspector. So, just like they said, he had a moisture detector. So he would go around and he would put that on the walls to detect moisture that was even painted over, right? So that's what some homeowners will do. They'll paint over a dilapidated wall to make it look fresh and brand new. And the moisture detector picks up that moisture, that condensation, that maybe he had a leaky pipe behind that wall and it stained that wall. He got in the crawl spaces, right? And he was able to crawl under there and look for and found some rotted wood, so that connection that Lauren and Nathan had with that very detail-oriented home inspector saved me probably hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Actually,
to make sure. No.
Probably because of the home inspection, right?
Yeah, and a lot of home inspectors, whoever I probably would have found, I would have probably taken their word for it. But because Lauren and Nathan already have the years in service and the partnerships with someone who's that detail oriented, he helped me walk away from a lot of bad houses that I probably would have gone for at the first sight. It's perfect. No, it's not perfect. The home I live in now, it had 22 dead electrical outlets out of 30. So there are 30 electrical outlets. And I still remember there are 30 electrical outlets in my home. 22 of them were electrically dead.
That's your previous agent, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's huge. And also having a home warranty. We negotiated and asked for a warranty. So that's also a protection as well to buffer that they helped me that I didn't know about. Nathan's like, we can ask for a home warranty. And we did, and we got it. So great. I'm gonna thank you, Betty. I hope that was some great questions there, better than what I ever could have asked. Yeah. What do you guys I'm gonna have to get her on the show. What 3 books would you recommend to your friends, family, clients? What 3 books are your favorite? Really kind of speak to you.
So one that I have read multiple times and listened to, even have it on the audiobook. I love it. It may be more towards women. I don't know. I guess I haven't thought about it. It's written by a woman, but it's not necessarily for women. But just the way she talks is more to women. Jen Sincero, and it's "You're a Badass." And it's an awesome book.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fun, easy read, but it's just motivational and it's just what you need to hear sometimes. And if you are a badass, you can do this. Like, get you focused on the right things, the positive things. Just kind of always puts me back into check on stuff. And I've recommended that to tons of people. Love it. Another one, if you are, a business owner and you want to focus more on like a referral type business, similar to what we have, we rely on, our friends and our family and our past clients to refer us. We don't do any marketing. We don't have to. We don't have to be chasing, Zillow leads like all these other agents are constantly circling around, just chasing. We don't do that because we have people that just call us, which is the best feeling in the world, by the way, when you get a call of somebody that's like, hey, so-and-so told me, you guys are great. We can't wait to work with you. It's like the heavens open up. It just means so much to me. But if you want to focus on that type of business, I like the 7 levels of communication. It's Michael Maher, I think Mahr. That's another great one. Easy read again. Like I like easy things sometimes. I've got the in-depth ones, but sometimes it's nice to just open up something or listen to it, and it's a nice, easy read. What do you have?
So one that's really influenced me, and it's an easy. I'm not gonna say read because I tend to do a lot of audiobooks.
We're in the car a lot.
We're in the car a lot. It's good to have. But the one I like is it's actually a classic. I think it's been around for years. It's the How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Love that book.
It's a really good book. Yeah, was it Dale Carnegie? I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Great book. A lot of stuff that he says on there just resonates with me. And it's just maybe my personality type where I'm just naturally want to compliment people, want to see them do good and see them succeed and just bring out the best in other people. So that's one of my favorites right there.
Great books. I've read one of those books, so I must read How to Be a Badass. I gotta check that out.
I think I have to read that one myself.
Really good.
So, who are your heroes and why? Bum, bum, bum.
I'm gonna get some brownie points here. I'm gonna say that Lauren is my hero.
Yes. Great job.
She honestly,
Great job.
She inspires me. She I would have to say makes me wake up and want to be a better spouse, better father, better entrepreneur. Like she just pushes me a lot, probably more than anyone else. And she's a super mom. So we've got 2 great kids. She comes home. We're both out there working. We come home. We watch the kids a little bit. We cook dinner, get baths. So she's super mom. Couldn't do this without her. I could and I did, but not at the level that we're at now. And I think this attributes to her coming on and really just laser focusing our business and setting up a business plan for us. So there's Lauren. She's my hero.
I can't really top that now.
You could say you're your hero, right?
But then it's cheesy.
Yeah.
I have lots of heroes. No, there's been tons of people that have just influenced me in my life. I'm thankful for every person that's, been in my life. I try and learn something from everyone in every situation. And I feel like everybody's their own little hero in some way. Everybody goes through trials and tribulations. And when you get over that and you learn from it, you're a hero. So, yeah, there's lots of people.
Well, you all...
the hero.
Marcus,
you all are mine. You all are mine. You all are definitely my heroes. I follow you profusely, and I support you in any way and every way that I can. And I just love you guys to death, and I appreciate everyone for me, and look forward to our future. A bright, COVID-19 free future.
Yes. Maybe do this in studio there. That'd be great. Right. Can't wait for those days to go back.
Yes, I can't wait. I'll probably save it for the next show. I'll just this pandemic has affected so many people, just, so many companies, it did something to me to drive by Golden Corral and see their doors shut.
Oh, yeah.
That's a place that's a parking lot that's typically always full. And to know that they've closed their doors down because they can't operate without meeting the governor's protocols for sanitation. They can't. There's no way. It's a buffet. There's no way to sanitize enough, and so they can't open up. They can't actively open up, and that's unique. I never thought I'd see that, in my lifetime.
Weddings too. I feel so bad for so many people
and
the weddings scheduled, and they just want to get married and they can't even do that. A lot of lives impacted.
Very true. So how can my audience, after we connect on here, they can obviously reach me and I'll plug them into you, but how can my audience get in contact with you for further questions, buying and selling their home, wanting to connect with you and pick your brain some more so they can get ready those 6 months prior to get ready to close on that first property? How can they connect?
I would say the best one is to reach us by email or phone. So we are terrible at marketing. So our website is like a continual work in progress because we just don't have time to do that. So don't go to our website right now. It needs some love. So Facebook is a great one. You can find us, the Right Price Real Estate Team, phone number and email. So email is rightpricere@gmail.com. And then telephone number 757-636-1963. And
you can also my phone number, if for any reason she's busy, which she does happen to be every now and then. My phone number is 757-621-2445. But we're typically
come directly to us.
Come directly to us. Text us, call us. Send us an email. We'll always reach out to you.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, y'all. So that's Right Price Real Estate, Right Price RE@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is Mr. Nathan's phone number. And I didn't catch Miss Lauren. How can our audience connect with you, Miss Lauren?
It's 636 or 757. Sorry, 757-636-1963.
Bear with me, y'all. I am a pecker when it comes to typing numbers, so I have to peck my numbers.
You're good.
So that's Miss Lauren's number right there. Please reach out to them. Again, if you have further questions, want to dig deeper, dive deeper, and just kind of pick their brain on what to do and how to go about it. This is the time. You heard it first and foremost. Interest rates are incredible right now, and they are low on inventory. So people have been closing above their markets. People have been
waiting buyers for you.
We literally have buyers waiting. We send out letters now because we're on such a shortage. So we'll actually send out letters to neighborhoods for our buyers, just trying to find anybody that's off market that wants to sell. So we need some houses.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for today. We want to thank you on behalf of Marcus Norman Gentleman Style Podcast and the Right Price Real Estate Team, Lauren and Nathan Price. We appreciate you. We love you. On behalf of my audience, from me, I love you guys. Thank you for joining us today. And so, ladies and gentlemen, like always, gentlemen, take care of your families, take care of your homes, and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman and Lauren and Nathan Price signing off. Love you. Bye. Have a great